So I'm Samer Bijani. I'm CEO and co-founder of Hoodie. I'm gonna tell you more about Hoodie and what we are doing. Hoodie is your neighborhood social network. Our mission is to connect neighbors and give them a place, a secure place, a private place where they can really engage, collaborate, talk to each other, and rebuilding communities and redefining neighborhood communication. In Hoodie, you can just sign in. It's a mobile app for now, and then you choose your neighborhood. Then you can ask for a babysitter. You can find your next sports partner. You can hear about events and happenings in your neighborhood. You can buy and sell conveniently. So our mission is to bring the entire neighborhood online and provide a platform where people could be better neighbors and make the most of out their neighborhoods.
Well, it feels like Hillary today, but I'm introducing myself as Lumo Birisley. I'm the founder and CEO of Kood.com. It's an online shopping and lifestyle destination for modern Middle Eastern women. I have lived, studied, and worked in 11 countries around the world, from Canada down to Australia. I have worked with industries such as banking, telecommunication, oil and gas, and I feel happy I'm behind a barrel, an oil barrel today. However, early this year, I have closed this chapter, this 26-year-old chapter in the corporate world, and started a very new chapter as an entrepreneur, launching Kood.com.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shagufta Kokar. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children, and I'm also the partner and co-founder of Chancery Lane Institute for Professionals. Having started a family early and then moving to Dubai, it became very impractical to take the next step towards qualifying as a UK lawyer. This was the inspiration behind setting up Chancery Lane Institute for Professionals. Now, CLIP is a legal education provider based here in Dubai. Our key feature is that we are the first and only providers outside of the UK accredited by the Solicitors Regulation Authority to provide the compulsory courses needed to qualify as a solicitor, which is a UK attorney. This is a very big deal because until now, most people wanting to qualify as a solicitor would have had to attend and complete courses out in the UK. We have received tremendous support and help from English legal ecosystem in the UAE, from English law firms, universities, and lawyers themselves, and have had solid support from KHDA, DIFC, Academy of Law.
Thank you. You know, as Gina said in her introduction, we're setting the tone for our next session, which is actually called Disrupting Monotony. So, Samer, I'd like to start with you and ask you, how do you think you're disrupting within your business?
Okay. Well, I think as an entrepreneur, you need to be creative. You have limited resources, and you have a few people believing in you at first. And with that, you really need to create a value and to disrupt what's happening today. Tell you a little bit about my story as a co-founder of Hoodie. I'm a software engineer. And then when I decided to quit my job in Dubai, when I had the idea, for almost 8 months, I coded Hoodie myself. So there was no cost for development. I even got the sketches done, everything, the product, the identity, the branding. I got a friend to help me. He built the iPhone app also without any charge. He wouldn't accept to get charged. So the whole development process was zero. And then I got a mentor that was talking to me prior to launch. And he told me that first, you're building a social network. So the first thing you need is a social proof. You need to prove that with X users, that's what you can do. So I'm challenging you to get at least 500 users. So that was the challenge. The budget was about 3,000 dirhams. That's all I can put into marketing to launch in JLT. We launched 4 months ago. Starting in JLT, so the goal was clear. I need 500 users, and I need to see what's happening. I'll just say that how can I reach 500 users? How can I really market with a low budget and only in one location? So I started reading and learning about hacks, about what you can really do. We ended up inviting 6,000 people, out of which 600 new neighbors in 2 weeks joined Hoodie. With the same amount, with the same budget, we reached more than 3,000 users today within 3 months with this cost. So that's something that you really, you can't see anywhere else. Big companies, and probably in Dubai, they spent about 7 to 10 dirhams cost of acquisition. Our cost for acquisition is less than a dirham. And users are happy, and we're just growing. We're into 19 neighborhoods today. We started with one 3 months ago. And the goal is to go all over Dubai very soon.
So Samer, you're saying you started on zero
Yes.
budget. You programmed the whole thing, you got your friends to help you, and then your cost of acquisition was below a dirham for people, while in the market it's 7 to 10. So let me ask you a question on the back of that. Do you feel that the urgency and the need to prove what your business stands for, pushing you to find new and innovative ways, is what made you disrupt?
Okay. So, well, I hope the audience can help me here. I just want to ask you, if you have a platform that helps you be better neighbors and make the most of your neighborhood, would you join it? Just by the show of hand, please, let me know.
So everyone's trying to be a good neighbor.
So, yeah, mainly, we are the good guys here. We just want to build communities, and starting from Dubai and going all over the region and beyond the region.
But when you talk about being a good neighbor, could you not do that on other social media platforms at the moment? What makes you so different?
In that case, first, we respect the privacy. So you can't really see all about the life of your neighbors. So it's really private, it's secure. We verify, we have an algorithm that verifies the neighbors. We make sure that they really live here, they're not spamming. We have features that can only work, like if you compare it to Facebook groups, we have features that can only work in Hoodie. You buy and sell conveniently in the bazaar. We have a section to buy and sell within the same building, because mostly you're moving out, someone is coming in, moving to the same building, so you can just have a transaction within the same building as well. And we're adding many more features later on.
Fantastic. And one last question before I jump over to you, Luma, with regards to the same question. What inspired you to actually get to the point of even conceptualizing Hoodie? You mentioned you had a full-time job and you left it for 8 months to develop the platform. Why?
Yeah, because
would you
again,
give up?
because I had limited resources, and you know, as an entrepreneur, you just need to go and do your idea. If you don't really believe that you can make it, if you're not 100% committed, especially when you don't have many resources, you just need to go and do it, and prove everyone else that they are wrong if they didn't believe. Thank you.
So, Luma, can we throw the same question at you? How did you disrupt your business, and how are you continually disrupting things within your business?
Well, I'll tell you what Coot.com is not. It's not the first e-commerce business in the Middle East providing convenience, but we are different in 3 different ways. The first element that sets us apart is value creation. And value creation not only from the perspective to our employees, to our customers, to our future shareholders, but also to the community that we are part of. We give back to the community in a very practical, tangible, and measurable way by opening up the floor to the women of the Middle East. We feel that women have always been, throughout the history of the Middle East, have been the cornerstones of our community. However, I strongly believe that they have not been utilized to the best in terms of their entrepreneurial skills. There's a businesswoman inside every single woman I have come across in my life waiting for the opportunity. So Coot.com today is a free of charge platform for a woman that has a product and wants to promote her product in a bigger space within the region and beyond. So that's the first point, the value creation. The second point that sets us apart is the rich experience. In Coot.com, you have the combination of a mall, a high-end mall, as well as the bazaar. And Middle Eastern women love both of them. They love to shop from both of them. So in the mall, you have brands that are not available in the Middle East, neither in the shop format, nor do they provide their products online to the Middle East. And in the women's souk, and women's souk comes from Souk al Harim in my country, Kuwait, and that's a very old market only women sell in that market, and I wanted to bring it back to the digital space in a modern way. In the Women's Souk, we also sell exclusive products of wonderful, talented women. And in that case, you have both experiences, as well as a blog. We call it in Arabic swalif, or conversation. We don't want people to come in, shop, and go. We want to create more and more reasons for people to come to our space. We want to create dialogues, and we want to help women become better women inside out, helping all aspects, or talking about all aspects of her life, being a mother, employee, entrepreneur, student, etc. The third thing that sets us apart is exclusivity. What you find on Cood.com, you only find on Cood.com. We're not competing with the brands that you see everywhere. We're bringing brands to women to make them look special. Whenever they buy from us, they're going to be wearing something exclusive. So these are the parameters that set us apart.
So are you an online shopping portal? Is it the end user distribution and post buying, everything happens from the seller's perspective, or is it all taken on in-house with you?
That's a good question, Gina, because we have an interesting business model. In Coot, we have, if I may, a double face, customer-facing relationship. On one face, we cater for the buyer, and for that we have to have a logistic system that helps us sell fast, which means we have to have an inventory and warehousing and an operational system that helps us sell and deliver fast. We have to cater for flexibility in terms of payment options. And we also have to cater for flexibility in terms of returns and exchanges. The other client-facing side of the business is our relationship with the seller. And these have different needs and different types of requirements and a different operational system. We have to consider shipping, we have to consider marketing, pricing, and that's a whole set of requirements, if I may.
So, Luma, what you're trying to say is you're taking on Amazon.
Oh, that's a huge statement. Well, if I may, I may call myself a local Amazon because I have the luxury, being a user myself. I started, becoming an online buyer when I was working, and still I'm working 11 hours a day, and I don't have time to get into my car, go to a mall, find a slot for my car, window shop, and spend like half day shopping. I did not have the time to do that. So I became a user myself. So I had the luxury of becoming a user, and also I had the luxury of starting where Amazon has ended and taking this experience forward. However, what sets Cood.com apart from Amazon is the cultural root that we have. We are part of the community, and we want to be part of the community. I don't want to become an alien to the community. So women can find products that are suitable for them being Middle Eastern women, which they cannot find in Amazon.com.
Fantastic. So your disruption came about from a need of not having enough time, coupled with vast experience that put you into a model, taking on a giant like Amazon. By the way, Amazon never started like that. Amazon started very eBay. They started off with just connecting a buyer and a seller, and they never did the distribution model in between. So you're disrupting at such a high level that you're taking it on, and you have the cultural aspect intertwined in that. In all of this, the support of women as well. Are you chewing off more than you can bite, biting off more than you can chew scenario?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I love the response. That was a good comeback.
Sustainability.
Oh, come on, that deserves a little bit of applause. That came back faster than I asked it.
Community has been always a part of my life since I was a student, since I was that's 30 years ago, by the way.
We can't tell.
Well, I'm 49 years old, and I'm happy and proud to start a new chapter as an entrepreneur at that age. My daughter, who's sitting in the second row, she's 20 years old. She's just finished her master's degree from SUAS. She's helping me in my business. I've always been passionate about giving back to the community in a not PR way, in a meaningful way, in a practical way, and also in a tangible and measurable way. So the drive just keeps me going. It's your caffeine in the morning. This is my caffeine. This is my type of caffeine, and I'll always continue doing that.
That's
Thank you.
Shagufta, I'd like to ask you, you come from a slightly more traditional sector. Is is it more difficult to think about disruption, or how do you go about it?
Not really. I mean, we're quite different from the way we want to do courses. Like, for example, my business at the moment, Chancery Lane Institute for Professionals. First of all, we're the only and the first providers outside of UK that have been accredited by the SRA.
So you're disrupting an entire educational system?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we have somebody taking on Amazon,
Yeah.
somebody taking on connecting and making neighbors happen, and now we have you disrupting education. That hasn't happened in 200 years.
No, it hasn't. But
And
it is now.
And what brought you there?
Well, I got married at a very young age, okay, and started family early. Then we moved to Dubai. So that sort of delayed my process of qualifying as a solicitor. Once everything was settled, decided to do my LPC, couldn't find anything here, and the only option was to go back. Now, you know, with 3 children, family settled in Dubai, you don't want to move them back just for, you know, to pursue career. And my husband was here, settled as well, so, you know, his work. So you had to take a lot of consideration, and I had to think really hard that I might not be the only one who's going through this. So we built a business plan, shared the idea with friends, word of mouth, everybody loved it. And, you know, so the way we're different is that our courses are different as well. Not only that we're providing in Dubai to qualify as English solicitor, but you basically get students from abroad, like Saudi, India. I'm getting inquiries from Australia that how can we enroll and how does it work? And our courses are designed a bit different as well. Instead of doing the traditional GDL and then LPC course to qualify as a solicitor, we've combined the two and made one course, which is the Integrated Legal Practice Program. And that's done in 18 months. You cut off 6 months, basically, in that course alone. And that will give you enough time to do basically charity work, or you could do a language if you want to learn. There's a lot of possibilities there.
So for the rest of the audience who are not from a legal background, just to, if I may, just make a synopsis of what you just said. So to qualify as a solicitor in England, you basically had to finish your qualifying law degree, and then you had to go back and you had to get an internship and do more courses, but you had to do that only in
UK,
England.
only in England and Wales.
So you could
Yes.
not do that anywhere else in the world,
No, you can't. No.
and now you can.
And now you can. Yes.
And so Clip brought that here based on a need of you trying to give women like yourself, women who have children and families, but also people who might not want to go and give up their lives. We see a lot of brain drain happening here, a lot of
Yes.
people leaving to go back. And then once you become settled, when you've got family, it's so difficult to move back. It's
It
hard
is.
life decisions. So the question I have for you is, how did you decide at that point, when you discover the loophole, and you said, okay, I'd love to do the course here, I'd love to have it here for myself, I'd love to have it for other people. I'm trying to find a characteristic here that you decided to get onto a plane, go back to the UK,
Yes.
and take on the SRA and go give it to us in Dubai. So Dubai is the first place in the world to have this.
Yes. Dubai is the first place.
Dubai is a global agenda. I like
Yes,
this.
Yes. Dubai is considered one of the safest cities, and I think it will have a great market for students to come from, you know, Saudi, Australia, anywhere. I mean, parents are very comfortable sending their kids to educate in Dubai just because it's safe. And providing these courses, the fact some families who, you know, don't want to send their children abroad, like back to UK to qualify as solicitors, they can do their courses over here and qualify, and then they can even carry on with their training contract. And another best thing is that paralegals, they don't have to give up their work. They can do this course on the side, minimum of 10 to 15 hours a week, which will be needed face-to-face tutorials in small groups. Otherwise, the rest is actually on website, e-portal.
That's brilliant. Samer, I'd like to ask you a question and kind of put you on the spot here a little bit. So we've talked about your product, we've talked about your idea, and it all sounds great. But we haven't talked about your business model and your idea for revenue generation. Is that something that you've thought about yet?
Yeah, sure, of course. Well, you can't launch a company without knowing where you're heading. In terms of social networking, that's a concept that is quite new in the region. So you really need to understand that users, members, they come first. You can never try to monetize, waste efforts monetizing before making sure that you have a strong community and then that you have a volume as well. And once you're there, then I'm happy to share a lot of ideas that how we can really generate money, but just think about it as, again, we're the good guys and we want to recommend for communities the best things to do and being the first ones to do it in the region. So.
Yeah, I like your concept, Samir, from one perspective. Recently, you know, in the marina, in different places in Dubai, we've seen a lot of issues with regards to, you know, we've seen certain buildings go into fire. I remember I work the entire day and I had my cats missing and nobody could tell me they were missing or that my garden gate was open. Sometimes you want to connect and you just want enough information to feel safe. Considering you mentioned earlier, and you know, Shagufta mentioned this as well, she said this is such a safe community, such a safe economy. Where do you see is the scope of Hoodie going? What is the, people already feel safe, everyone's really nice to each other, we're 217 nationalities. How do you see that all coming together? How do you see Hoodie being the solution to bringing it all together?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer with two sections, this answer. In Dubai, well, it is safe, so we're not gonna really play a big part in Dubai. But just imagine us in Syria. Just imagine that we also launch in Syria, where we have refugees, where we have people that really need to reach each other. Well, that's what we do. We connect people living next to each other, and we offer them an option to collaborate, to help each other, to rescue each other. And what's on, that's in Syria. And any other nation, not just the Arab world, anywhere else, safety is an issue. In the States, they have the most crime rates. And then imagine us in the States, in neighborhoods where you can really report a thief or you know, some incidents that are happening. In Dubai, what we can really do, and that what we are doing, we are working with building managers as well, and giving them an option to integrate through Hoodie. And anytime a fire might happen, a real fire alarm, with a push of a button, they can send a push notification to everyone registered on Hoodie, and then you're gonna get the alarm just on your phone. So if you're 5 minutes away, you can just come back to your building, rescue your pet, your baby, or whatever belongings you have there. And imagine us also integrating with Dubai Police, hopefully. So if there's any kind of incident and you just want to target one region, you don't want to scare the whole city, if there's anything there that you really want to push, we're with the platform for that. You couldn't do it anywhere else.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. It locked in on the concept. Luma, one last question before we jump into talking about innovation here. You mentioned you're the localized Amazon here. So we just got Samir's view with regards to where he's going as well as Shagufta's. Where do you see Coot going? What's the big innovation? Where's the dream? What's taking over the world, taking on Amazon, cross-country?
Well, the dream comes from the reality. The reality today is that we live in a consuming market. What we need to think about is how can we use this type of market to encourage and groom evolution to the industrial market. So being an e-commerce business, I have utilized the nature of the market to groom maybe a niche segment moving to the industrial side of the business by grooming those productive women to start their businesses. So this is how I see that.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're connecting not only consumerism, but back to manufacturing as well. You're looking at more producers in the region, and you're encouraging that from the grassroots level.
Yeah, that's true. Many brands around the world are looking at the Middle East, and they see it as a good potential, but they're not sure how to tackle the market because they don't understand it, especially women in the Middle East. They don't understand how to tackle this market from a marketing point of view. or they don't have, there's a waiting list for the brick and mortar model. All the malls are fully booked. There is no way to come into a location that they can showcase their brands. Plus, they would like an opportunity to test the ground and have a dipstick view of how much the opportunity is in this market. And this is what we open up for those brands. So coming from a communication point of view, I left my job as a vice president of corporate communication in a leading telecommunications company, which I can't mention the name of today. So telecommunication is my asset. I can provide the expertise that I have gained along the years in promoting those brands in the market to the audience that I'm very well aware of, which I'm part of as well.
Luma, going back to the question I asked in the introduction, do you really think we're on track with innovation? What is your stand on innovation?
Well, I have been keeping an eye on the Global Innovation Index and for the last few years. And you know that UAE has come in a better ranking this year. I think the announcement was in last August in Geneva, the headquarters of the United Nations, placing UAE as #1 in the Middle East in innovation. Well, that did not come from vain. There was some serious hard work behind this. And there were some parameters that UAE has kept in mind to move one step above. Knowing UAE, living in the UAE for the last 21 years, I know that the UAE looks to benchmark itself against developed countries, not developing countries. Yes, it is #1 today in the Global Innovation Index, GII. But it's still a consuming market. It came up because it improved its market sophistication and it improved its infrastructure, but it is still a consuming market. Today, actually, the last statistics in 2013 show that the UAE comes #3 after Saudi Arabia and Egypt as a consuming market, and that's #3, and they come #33 worldwide. So what are the ways to change the formula to move from a purely consuming market and evolve into an industrial market? That, I think, will lift the ranking of the UAE globally in terms of GII, or Global Innovation Index.
Shagufta, your thoughts?
I think innovation has really been a key for Dubai. This includes articles almost every day in newspapers. Just this morning in Gulf News, there was a front-page article on where Sheikh Mohammed was encouraging scientists, UAE scientists, to seek recognition at Nobel Prize level. I think it's a great step forward. It's I have had several discussions with the law firms as well that have been drafting the legal framework around the innovation funds. And it is quite clear that the government does take this very, very seriously, and it's actually really on the agenda. Our own business model reflects this kind of culture. For example, our courses are structured so that traditional plenary teaching materials are online, and students will only have to do their face-to-face with lecturers in small tutorial groups. This is known as the flipped teaching method, and I think it's the more you encourage innovation, the more you will exceed.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump back on that one. So I don't think with regards to setting a vision, we mentioned earlier today, Hala from Expo reiterated it also, there is no shortage of vision in this country. No shortage of it. I think we make up for half the globe when we talk about vision. Between vision and entrepreneurs and every system that exists in between, and I'm going to leave this open to all of you, right? Anyone feel free to answer on this. In between the vision and the everyday systems that we go through, do you feel that we are changing the archaic methodology of how we do things to keep up with that vision? Samar, jump.
Okay.
You look like you're ready. You're being a gentleman looking at the ladies.
Yeah, I was thinking about the answer. So first, when you want to talk about the system, what's the system? It's the ecosystem that is made of startups, incubators, accelerators, VCs, mentors, advisors. That's the ecosystem, and that's how a startup can survive and become a successful company. Now the thing is, when we are talking about innovation, well, look, when you create a startup that has already proven to work in the same market and you're replicating a model, you're gonna have much more chance to get funded because they've seen it already. They know it works. That's what's happened with Airbnb. It was a new concept. They got rejected many times. They've even told them that we don't see room for scale. Imagine Airbnb. They have the most room. They have more rooms than hotels do today, and they didn't see that they could scale. So I think we're doing much better than we were doing 5 years ago in Dubai and in the region as a whole. But I still think that it's our responsibility as entrepreneurs to come up with fresh and innovative ideas and to never stop before making it big. We need a success story or a couple of success stories to be able to bring it to the upper level.
Thanks, Samer. Samer, you made a very interesting point when you said replicating an idea. I'd like to throw a question at Luma. Luma, what do you think? Do you think innovation is about coming up with a new idea, or do you think it's just about taking an existing idea and just doing it differently?
Of course, innovation is looking at a need as an opportunity, first of all. And I look at myself and everyone in the room, all small businesses who are about to start are actually a seed, a fresh seed waiting to be groomed or developed. We need the ground that gives us this opportunity to nourish and bring the best of its capability as a seed. So this ground is in the hands of the government, and I think the government has come a long way into facilitating SMEs and startups. I issued my trade license in 15 minutes. This is great. If I look back, I'm sad to say, in my own country, Kuwait, it takes us minimum 2 weeks, 2 months to issue a trade license. This is fantastic. However, there are things that the government needs to start looking at, which is a more developed and sophisticated infrastructure and ecosystem that support the businesses. From my perspective, I look at things like the operational side of the business, warehousing, delivery. We're still lagging behind compared to developed countries. Telecommunications, accessibility, how easy it is to have access. How much do we pay for telecommunications? These are all factors that impact small businesses. So going back to your question, innovation has to be also, it's not only on our shoulders, but it's also on the shoulders of the government that we're part of, on shoulders of the investors that we seek to support us as businesses as well.
Shagufta, as we wrap up, I have a final question for you. I know that CLIP is eyeing expansion into new markets, and looking at new markets is very much on your agenda. Tell us a little bit about how you're going to keep innovation at the core of your expansion strategy, and how that's continually going to be on your mind even when you're going into new markets.
CLIP will have to keep coming up with ideas, but right now I think for at least for 2 years we're sorted with our business structure at the moment. We will be looking into a lot of e-learning to provide easy access for students abroad. We'll be providing a lot more structured courses for them that are around them rather than they have to build their life around the courses. So it's just more easy access, how comfortable we can make a student while they're doing their course, and including for students who are working and want to keep their full-time job. It's the idea of how easy access it can be for CLIP courses to provide.
Thank you, Samer, Luma, and Shagufta. You've been great. Thank you so much. I think we've got some great food for thought moving into our next session. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.